time for Lumberjacks.
Lumberjacks is sponsored by Echo, only professional grade with 5-year warranty. Crown, protect, maintain, save. Gas Guzzler lifts gas and oils from land, vehicles, and tools. Yamaha, conquer outdoors.
We're high atop Squamish, British Columbia. For the first time ever, Lumberjacks TV series is covering the Squamish Days Lager Sports Festival. This 56th annual event has been seen by millions over the years from all over the world. We have over 100 competitors competing for over $25,000 in prize money. Hi, I'm Bill Deevan with my co-host, Lumberjack sport analyst Rod Cumberland. And Rod, you being from New Brunswick, I know it's been a lifelong dream of yours to come out to Squamish.
We've covered a lot of great shows in Canada, Bill, over the years, but Squamish is the granddaddy of them all, and it's more than exceeded my expectations.
Now this first event, we're covering the tree climb, the obstacle pole, and the choker race. 3 real unique events. The tree climb, we got some world-class climbers.
Luke Brownjohn, he's a son of a great lumberjack, obviously Jack Brownjohn. He's getting faster every year, but he's got to go some to catch guys like Sterling Hart from right here in BC and Brian Bartow from the US.
One of my favorites, the choker race. These guys are carrying an 80-pound choker cable across a pond on a log. You got to be nimble on your feet in that bend.
You bet, and it's brought a lot of guys out of the woodwork. We got guys transplanted New Yorkers who've moved to Alaska all in this event. It's going to be a tough one to call, but it'll be fun.
And one event that is actually, you're fairly familiar with out east in New Brunswick and Ontario and Quebec, the obstacle pole buck. We do that out west here as well. Who do you like in that field?
That one, Carson Bischoff, is a pretty good one in that, but it's a tough one to call again. Wade Stewart's in it, Sterling Hart, they're fast on their feet. The difference out west here, they have a modified chainsaw. So not only do they have to be fast on their feet, they've got to have a fast saw as well. That's going to be a great one to watch.
Weather-wise, we have a picture-perfect day. We're expecting about 3,000 to 4,000 people in this stadium that is actually made for lumberjack sports, a fantastic venue. We're heading into the tree climb. We're going to be showing you 2 heats of 2 and a heat of 1. Just before the tree climb, we had a chance to talk to Sterling Hart.
Welcome to Lumberjacks. I'm Sterling Hart, and my specialty event today is the tree climb. So we're just going to show you a little bit of the equipment that we use for the tree climb here. So basically, you've got 2 different sets of spikes. You've got your conventional spikes, which the novice and intermediate guys are required to wear. Basically, that goes around the arch of your foot and doesn't move, it stays stationary. And that's what the guys use when they train on, and it's also the ones you'll see them work out in the bush with the woods. Our open competitors use what's called a toe spur, and it's actually got a trombone on it. So basically, you set your foot into that, and it actually moves and simulates running up the tree. Basically, we equate it to the difference between trying to run 100 meters on your heels and running 100 meters on your toes. Everybody's got their own special design. This isn't something you can just go to Walmart and buy. Upper is usually made of fiberglass, just normal hardware from any hardware store. I use a baseball cleat because I like a nice firm sole. All different nuts and bolts to hold it steady. And the actual spike itself, everybody's got their own design. Mine personally, I have mine bent a little bit forward, a little bit up, and they're filed to a very sharp point. So they stick into the tree good, but they also come out of the tree good when we're coming down the tree in a hurry.
Yeah, and much thanks to Sterling Hart for that informative piece on the spurs used here in the tree climb event. First up is Lucas Brownjohn in the tree climb. He's running solo on this one.
Obviously the son of a great lumberjack, Jack Brownjohn. He was a great chopper in his day. It's funny to see Lucas in the pole climb. It's something you never catch Jack doing. Here he is doing a great job going up, though. He's just reaching the halfway mark here now in the 80-foot climb.
A little bit of a slip there by Lucas, and it's 1, 2 steps, and then throw the rope. 2 steps and throw the rope. He's on his way up there. You can only imagine intensity on legs here.
Takes a lot of legs, a lot of arms on this. He's on his way down now. They call this his out, and here he comes down. He has to every 20 feet, and he's on the ground.
And Lucas Brownjohn sets the time to beat a 24:42 in the tree climb with 2 more heats still yet to come.
So Lucas, busy day, doing all kinds of events back to back, and this one here is one of the most demanding. How do you train for that to make sure you get a good climb?
Well, speed climbing, you do a lot of sprint training and a lot of upper body strength, like pull-ups and stuff like that, a lot of body weight type stuff, and yeah, mainly sprinting though. Sprinting's been the one that's helped me out the most this year.
Well, Brownjohn sets the time to beat a 24:42. We got a first heat of 2 here. We got Hoberg versus Horseman.
One from Montana, the other guy hails from Washington State. This is an all-American heat here in the tree climb.
We got Dan Horseman in pole number 1, Eric Hoberg in pole number 2. Dan Horseman, a great start. Look at the lead he's got already on Hoberg as Hoberg slips.
Hoberg slips twice now. He's just making the 20-foot mark. But Horseman, man, he hasn't missed a beat here. His climb up is going great.
He throws his rope 2 steps, throws his rope 2 steps, hits the bell. No, he misses the bell and struggles to hit it. Gonna cost him a few seconds.
Got his rope caught around the bell. Actually, now here he is doing his out. What an uncharacteristic way to hit the ground.
What a speedy down that is. He literally uses his rope and his arms only as brakes, spurs in the minimum amount of times just to make it legal. But have you ever seen something like this before?
Not like this. Pretty uncharacteristic, but see, gets himself set, and then actually a pretty safe way to get to the bottom on an 80-foot pole.
Sterling Hart, Maple Ridge, firefighter.
My name is Brian Bartow. I'm from Molalla, Oregon, and I'm a track and field coach.
Well, here it is, Rod, the matchup you talked about in the opening. Sterling Hart taking on Brian Bartow. Right now, the time to beat, 23:36. Both these guys going at it again.
They travel around North America going head-to-head all the time. They're two of the best in this right now, tree climbing. Sterling Hart just had a new world record in Hayward, Wisconsin a few weeks ago.
Brian Bartow, the track and field coach, about 5 feet ahead at this point. He's going to get to the bell first. Sterling Hart makes it to the bell as well. And Sterling Hart takes him on the way down, and he wins a tree climb with a time of 17.15. An incredible out for Sterling.
Sterling has an unbelievable out. He is fearless when he gets to the top of this pole. He rings the bell, and look at this. He's free-falling. Touches it a couple times, has to hit every 20 feet, but he does it unbelievably.
He clearly overtook Brian on the way down, wins the tree climb, and look at that. Sterling Hart, by less than a second, taking out Dan Horseman, Luke Brownjohn, and Eric Hoberg in the tree climb. Just outside Squamish is Sam the Lumberjack. Sam stands for Squamish Axeman. Here he is in real life, the president of Squamish Days Logger Sports, Brian Couture. You know, Brian, an event that runs for 56 years doesn't happen just any old way. Obviously, you've got to have contribution from the business community, sponsors in general. I know for a fact Finning steps up in a big way on an annual basis. Just tell me about their contribution.
Well, yeah, that's right, Bill. And Finney's been a great sponsor. They've been with us for almost the 56 years that Squamish Day's been going. And they're not the only one, but the town is full of sponsors, but they step up to the plate every year, which is unbelievable. I hope there's someone that can step into the shoes. I've only been doing it for 41 years, and I'm going to make it to the 60th year of Squamish Days, and I'm looking forward to having you guys back here too, because it's a great event, and I think the world's going to see that this weekend.
Many thanks to Brian and his team for putting on a great event. Up next is the obstacle pole.
My name is Mark BOUQUIN. I work at the Great Alaskan Lumberjack Show in Ketchikan, Alaska, and I'm from Colden, New York.
My name is Brandon Sergei, and I'm a professional forester from Port Angeles, Washington.
Well, here it is, the obstacle pole, a little bit different out west. Brandon Sergei taking on Mark. What are the differences?
They're going up the pole just the same as they do in the east, but when they get to the top, they're using number 1, a modified chainsaw, and number 2, he almost falls off there, Mark. Number 2, they're actually using the bottom part of the bar for both sides of the cut.
They need one full disc to come off the end of that log. Brandon Sergei way ahead at this point. Brandon Sergei sets a time to beat at 16:16 as Mark BOUQUIN takes a lot of time at the top of the log there.
As we watch Mark here in the replay, you'll see he runs up the pole and he almost loses his balance and comes off at the top of the pole, hangs on there. He's actually an axeman really by trade, and he's learning the water sports and the OP here on his spare time.
Well, 5 or 6 feet above the ground. I know for a fact the big guys have a hard time with balance sometimes, and Mark BOUQUIN clearly had a hard time with balance. Up next, Mitch Hewitt taking on Brian Bartow.
We've got the axeman versus the waterman and the poleman, and this one here, Brian Bartow, this is his kind of event. Mitch Hewitt, he's a great axeman, not really used to seeing him in these kind of events.
Well, since I'm coming to Canada, Mitch has taken on all the events that have been offered to him, and Brian Bartow, a track and field coach, he's certainly versatile in all the different sports, lumberjack sports. Brian Bartow ahead at this point.
Ahead this time, but look at Mitch Hewitt. He's not far behind him at all. Brian Bartow's going to win this thing, but Mitch Hewitt not far behind.
Well, Brian Bartow lowers the time to beat to 14:73 here in the obstacle pole, but look at this guy going up the log, full of confidence.
No problem at all. Of course, he's got great balance. He does the log burling, the pole climbing. These are his events, and he's got to come good in these ones.
Well, there it is. Sterling Hart about to take on Brian Bartow's time of 14:73 here in this last heat. Going against Sterling Hart, we got Gabe Forrester.
Two young guns, and again, in the obstacle pole, usually it's the younger guys, fleet of foot, that do the best at it. These guys are wicked fast on their feet. Should be a great race.
Both these guys are second-generation lumberjacks. Both of their fathers competed in the sport as well. Both guys up to a good start.
Sterling Hart up, running up the pole, almost comes off it here, but Gabe Forrester's a little bit ahead at the time, but he also loses his balance.
Sterling Hart goes all the way through on his first cut, and he goes all the way through on his second cut. That's going to cost him big time.
All kinds of problems here for Sterling Hart. He's making his third cut, and look, Gabe also makes a mistake in his cut.
I have a feeling both guys are going to take a couple of DQs here. As Sterling Hart touches the end ahead of Gabe Forrester, judges are going to have a few things to say about this performance by both guys. Sterling Hart throws 3 Frisbees into the crowd. Now, the OP rules are saying that you're supposed to cut 1 disc, same side of the bar. Just explain to me what you were doing up there.
Oh, I've always been one of those people of excess, you know. If I'm going to do it once, why don't I do it 3 times, right? No, I'm running an excessively powerful saw on that event, and it's not one I train at very often, so I went for the first cut, and you're supposed to go around the backside and finish the cut, but took the first disc right off. Oh, shoot, better go back and do another one. Took that one right off, and I thought, well, here now, I might as well finish the event, so finish that one off, gave the beer gardens a wave, and we're off for the day.
Anyway, it's all about speed, and you either go big or go home, right?
Oh, that event, especially for me, I either DQ it or I win it every time. There's no in between for me.
Thanks for your time.
Thanks a lot.
Well, that'll be a DQ for Sterling Hart in the OP. Mitch Hewitt coming in 3rd place with a 15.27 in an earlier heat. Carson Bischoff takes 1st place with a 14.49 seconds.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Insect Defend Patch. Deep-free protection from biting insects.
Well, we're out here in beautiful British Columbia, and part of the fabric of lumberjack sports out here in BC for over 50 years has been Paul McKenzie. You know, Paul, I know that you've been doing this a long time, announcing and entertaining people in logger sports, been involved with the sport. Just summarize for me, you know, some of the experience, how long you've been doing it, and I know the end is coming soon.
Yeah, it's his 56th year here in Squamish. I started in 1957 and been very lucky. Have not missed a show in 56 years, and it's been great.
Well, you know, some people know you as announcer Paul. Other people know you as the Clown. Tell me about the Clown.
Well, the Clown started, I believe, in 1961, and he's still going, although not as hard. It was just about 30 years at the PNE, at the Lumberjack show there, and then I've traveled all over the world being the Clown. It's been a great, great hobby.
What are you going to miss most?
I think I'll miss the people, because it's a great, great sport, and if you haven't entered this sport as a youngster, do it. Do it now, because it's great, great people.
And a happy retirement to Paul McKenzie, who has literally entertained millions of people all over the world as an announcer in lumberjack sports, as well as the Clown. Next up, we have the women's single buck. We're going to be showing you the top 2 heats of 4 competitors. This first heat, we're going to be featuring Anita Jazowski taking on Janice Burns.
Paul mentioned great people in lumberjack sport. We're going to watch 4 of them right here. The Paulsons from Alberta, almost single-handedly carrying the torch for lumberjacks in Alberta. And also Janice Burns from the mainland here, Slocan. And then, of course, on the island, Anita Jazowski.
Well, they're going to be sawing through 16 inches of cottonwood. This is no easy feat. You know, it tends to be a little bit different kind of wood.
Different kind of wood here in Squamish, British Columbia. They're actually sawing cottonwood here. A little bit grittier wood and actually a little bit tougher on some of the blades.
And they don't allow a starter cut here in British Columbia like they do in the East. Janice Burns struggles to get her cut going, but now that she's going, she's got it in there good and straight.
She's sawing fairly well. She's actually looks a little bit, actually both girls look a little bit tight here. She's a little bit close to the log. If I was coaching her as her dad, I'd tell her to step back a couple of inches. It would make a whole world of difference in her cut.
On the left-hand side, we got Sarah Mooney wedging and spraying for both women at the exact same time. Looks like Janice Burns is going to finish this cut first. Anita is really slowing down at the end, and Janice Burns set the time to beat at 29.67 in the women's single.
So Janice, that looked all right. Are you happy with that cut?
Sure am. It's about as good as it could go. I didn't hang up or find any knots, so.
What are you running for a saw? Is this the same saw you run everywhere, or is this a special saw?
This is a Larch modified 2-peg borrowed from a friend. It's cutting well.
Well, we head into the final heat of the women's single buck. 16 inches of cottonwood, 4 more women in this heat. Danielle Koch among them, and you got to figure Danielle's the favorite in this heat.
Danielle's a really good single buck sawyer on the ladies' side of things here, but she's going to have her hands full because the 2 local girls are for Squamish, British Columbia. There's going to be 3,000 people in the crowd here cheering them on.
And not from Canada in this heat. Lauren Bergman coming from Whitefish, Montana. Once again, no starter cuts. Makes it a lot more difficult for some of these women.
Usually you always get a 6 to 8 inch starter cut depending on how big your wood is. You'll see these ladies here starting right off the start. And look at Danielle Koch, great starter cut. She's into the wood already.
She starts with a big, full pull cut on that, gets the saw into the wood. You can see Jacqueline McNichol struggling on the right-hand side.
Actually, lots of the girls here outside of Danielle struggling in this heat with a cottonwood, but look at Danielle, she's almost halfway through her block already.
Good full strokes, pushing all the way through to the handles and pulling the saw all the way back. Danielle Koch is going to win this heat handily. Is she going to take down a 29.67 set by Janice in the last heat?
Great job, full cut. Here it is, 30.4. She doesn't quite take them down.
Good for second place in the women's single. Danielle, it's a really good job there by you, but there's a little bit of an issue there. It was really close on that cadence. It changed, didn't it?
Yeah, the announcer hesitated big time. He's not supposed to. He's supposed to run the cadence just like a stopwatch. We weren't told it would be an Olympic start, so I'll wait and see if somebody says anything. If they don't, I'm good to go, and if they do, I'll definitely protest it.
Well, it was a tough chunk of wood at 16 inches of cottonwood, but Janice Burns and Danielle Koch beat the rest of the field by more than 10 seconds. Hey, we're out here at the 56th Annual Logger Sports Competition here in Squamish, British Columbia. Up next is the choker race.
Treb Rainey from Linden, Washington, equipment operator for Strider Construction.
Hi, I'm Wade Stewart from Nanoose, BC, and I'm a tree service operator.
Well, here it is, the choker race, one of the most exciting lumberjack sports in total. We're showing you 4 heats. The first heat, Treb taking on Wade.
Treb got the run of the deal here. He drew Wade Stewart, who's phenomenal at the water sports. He's actually hurt his back from the pole climbing days, but look at him go here in the choker race.
They got to go over 2 bunk logs, and on the 3rd bunk log, they got to throw the choker cable around and set it.
Wade's doing a great job. He's really fleet of foot here. He's quick, setting his bell on the choker. There it is. He's off again.
Treb is struggling. He's actually gone on the wrong side of the bunk log there. Wade is ahead of them as he's picked up some time on Treb, and Wade is heading across the water.
And we see him line himself up, make sure he comes across that log right, and there it is. Wade Stewart's across.
And a time of 28.65. That's going to be a tough time to beat.
So Wade, you had a great run in the choker race today. Usually we see you on the trees, 8-time world champ. How do you make the switch now? We don't see you on the tree anymore, but you're doing great still in the choker race.
Oh, it's a lot of fun. I used to climb forever, right? But I had a little bit of a sore back problem over the years, so kind of giving that up. But I want to specialize more in the log rolling and the choker race, and try to keep these young guys honest.
Carson Bischoff from Shuswap Lake, and I'm a welder and an arborist.
My name is Brian Bartow. I'm from Malala, Oregon, and I'm a track and field coach.
Well, Wade Stewart sets a time of 28.65. Up next, Carson Bischoff taking on Brian Bartow. This is going to be a good heat.
Great heat. Brian, of course, like I say, he's a specialist in the water sports and the pole events, and here he is just turning it on here in the choker race.
Look him hurdle that bunk log number 1, and Carson Bischoff takes a couple of steps. Hasn't got quite the height advantage that Brian Bartow has. Sets his bell. Brian Bartow's on his way back.
Brian's doing everything right here. He hasn't missed a beat. Look at that, hurdling the logs. All he has to do is line himself up, get across this log, and he's got it.
And Brian Bartow wins the second heat, lowers the time to beat by 5 seconds over Carson Bischoff. 23.78 is now the time to beat. What a spectacular performance by Brian.
So Brian, you had a great run in the choker race, and I see you, part of your strategy maybe had something to do with what you do for your day job. Tell me about your track and field.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, having a track and field background and doing some hurdling, yeah, it definitely helps out. I mean, I'm one of the few people who can hurdle the log with a choker, and yeah, definitely it will get me ahead of the race. And yeah, luckily I had a good run and finished on top.
Hi, I'm Brock Culliver. I'm a welder from Chase, BC.
Hi, I'm Jesse Whitehead from a small town in New Zealand called Waiku, and I'm an engineer by trade.
Well, what a fantastic job there by the track and field coach. 23.78 set by Brian Bartow. Brock Culliver taking on Jesse Whitehead.
Brian Bartow didn't leave a whole lot of room for any kind of errors here, and these guys here, both axeman specialists really at heart, and here they are going at the choker race. Not too bad so far.
A little bit of a stutter step there over bunk log number 1 for Brock Culliver. Jesse's having a hard time getting the cable. Where is he? He's trying to pull it under. He has to reach under, set the bell, and he's back on his way. Brock Culliver struggling a little bit as well. It's all costing them time.
Both struggle with the choker, but look at that. Jesse clearing them as best he can. Here's Brock going one hand over the other. Jesse's going to finish it with a little over 28 seconds.
Brock Culliver almost took a header right into bunk log number 2. He gets across the pond dry as he finishes up. Time to beat still 23.78.
Jesse had a great run there in the choker race today. It's an event that's not really done a lot down under. You want to tell me how you learned that event so fast?
Kevin Stewart teaching me how to set the choker. He said that's an important thing. Yeah, just trying to get across the log dry was a major part of it.
Well, you did a great job. You had a good finish today. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What a tremendous field of athletes we have here in Squamish for the Logger Sports Festival, and the choker race is a classic example. This is the last heat. The time to beat is 23:78, set by Brian Bartow. We got Gabe taking on Ian.
And Brian Bartow did not leave a lot of room for error here in the choker race. In this heat here, of course, we have the son of an axeman, but boys, he's getting really good at the water sports. And hey, talk about a fish out of water. Ian's from New York.
Saranac Lake, New York way. They do have a lot of water. Both guys make it across the pond dry. And look at Gabe Forrester, not tall in stature, but he's hurdling those logs just like Brian Bartow with a big swing of the choker and setting his bell.
Doing everything perfect here right now, hurling the logs, making him a lot faster. All he's going to do is line up and get across that pond, and he's got himself a great time.
You can see Ian Freeberg struggling with the bell a little bit to get this race finished. Gabe Forrester wins this heat with a 24:62. Brian Bartow wins the choker race with a 23:78 as Ian struggles to get finished here. And he takes a little bit of a splash in the water, managed to get across the finish line like any good lumberjack.
Hey, Gabe, you having a great run today in the choker race. You actually won your heat. Tell us what you do to make you so fast.
Just jog a whole lot, work out on a daily basis, and eat healthy most of the time.
Any tricks to running it to make it a little bit quicker than the guys you're up against?
Hurdling and a good set. That is the trick.
Well, you did a great job today. Congratulations.
Thank you.
The choker race is certainly one of the lumberjack sports with the most amount of athleticism necessary. Brian Bartow, the track and field coach, winning it with a 23:78.
And our crown pivotal point today focuses on Sterling Hart. Squamish is the kind of show that Sterling really excels at with all the water sports and tree topping, but he leaves himself a DQ in the obstacle pole, and he's got a little bit of ground to catch up on the rest of the competitors.
And that DQ certainly hurt him in the standings. It puts him down in third place with only 100 points. It's the versatile athletes you see on this board with Brian Bartow leading the way with 250.
And talk about versatility, our gas guzzler lumberjack of the day focuses on Carson Bischoff, showing all of his lumberjack skills, taking a win in the obstacle pole buck, and also a fourth place finish in the choker race.
And as mentioned earlier by Brian Couture, the president of Squamish Days Logger Sports Association, events like this just don't go on for 56 years without incredible support.
Lumberjacks is sponsored by Echo, only professional grade with 5-year warranty. Crown, protect, maintain, save. K100, make water burn. Yamaha, conquer outdoors.
I'm a forestry consultant.
I'm a student at Stanwood High School.
Retired timber faller.
I'm a lumberjack from Germany.
I'm a gardener.
I'm a forest manager.
I'm a professional faller, forest firefighter.
I'm a welder.
And I work in the forest industry.
And I'm a firefighter.
And I'm a massage therapist.
Arborist/welder.
And I'm a paramedic.
And I'm a school teacher.
And I'm a tree surgeon.
And I'm a timber faller.
And I'm a contract logger.
And I'm a track and field coach.
And I make my living as a logger.
Sterling Hart, Maple Ridge, exotic dancer. Perfect. We're good?